Okay, so now we're on to part three. So this is your professional reflection. And it's really important in our profession to be that reflexive and reflective practitioner. So this part is, building these skills that help you to improve your teaching, including your planning, which will then filter through to student outcomes. Now, there's not much more I can add that hasn't already been addressed in the exemplar. So have a look at the exemplar because it outlines in each dot point what, to kind of address in each. So for the first one, here you're looking for, where is the curriculum, the learning approaches, and the achievement connected to your pedagogical approach, that's specific to science here. And psychology teachers, psychology is a science in my eyes. So this experience to connect your own pedagogical approaches to physics will help in the development of your own psychology teaching practices in the future anyway, okay? You need at least one literature reference here. And obviously the pedagogical model as well. So the domains, the E5, HITS, practice principles, and things like that. In the second dot point here, you need to consider what you've learned through this experience. So through the planning experience, what are you going to take into your future planning or future teaching? So here you've got to be really specific. So what is the specific experience? And then how has that developed your understanding or developed your skill? And then how is that applied to your future instruction and planning? What does it actually look like? Okay, so be specific as possible in all of these sections. These standards here, choose one, and don't rewrite the standard. You need to provide specific examples about how you have progressed in 3.3, for an example, and what does that actually look like? How have you achieved that, and why? What do you need to learn? So this is, identifying what you don't know, your gap in your knowledge or a gap in your skills that you'd like to work on. You can think about, how you're going to improve on it. So when we want to focus something on our teaching and we want to improve on something, we can undergo professional development. We can, attend conferences. We can do readings and all sorts of things. But at the start of the year, we generally make a focus in terms of how we want to improve in our teaching over that year. So that's kind of the process, or that's the intent of that first dot point, to think about, okay, so this is the gap in my knowledge. How am I going to work on it? And I don't just want you to say, oh, I want to go to a conference, but what conference? And I mean, I'm not expecting you to find a conference, but say, what does a conference need to be addressing? What learning goals will you now set for yourself? So connect these to the AITSL standards and be specific in terms of which one you're connecting to. Again, don't just regurgitate the standard. Looking for a clear understanding of what the standard is related to the gap that you're identifying. And then finally, give specific examples for the strategies that you're going to put in place to achieve these goals. Okay, so these three are obviously clearly linked, and your answer needs to clearly link them in order to get a high distinction. I hope you've got a lot out of the planning process, and I'm really excited to see what you've come up with in terms of your inquiry unit and your reflection and how you went.